Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. In this video we're going to be looking back on the best and worst of Evercade in 2024 across the 12 carts that were released. In this video I'm going to be looking at the 5 worst games, in my opinion, that were on these carts through 2024. Without further ado, let's get started. Before we get started guys, just like to say the 5 games that I choose might well be your favourite games, so if that is the case I apologise. Now I'm not actually going to choose a worst cart this year or my least favourite, because I think the carts were all actually pretty good. I even enjoyed Data East Arcade 2 to a point, but I thought all the carts were pretty decent, so it would be really harsh to pinpoint a cart that was probably the worst of the year. So I'm not going to do that video, but there were a few games that I really did not enjoy. So let's get started. Let's choose my 5 worst games of 2024 on Evercade. So first up, and in no particular order, I've just chosen 5 games I didn't really enjoy that much and thought were pretty poor. This is Noby The Arvar from the Thalamus collection. Now I really enjoyed the Thalamus collection. I know it really wasn't that well received by a lot of people, especially maybe outside the UK, but I absolutely loved it. But I did not love this game. I found it to be a complete frustrating experience. Now right at the start of the game you're hit with the water killing you as soon as you touch it. You've got the water fountain spouting up there as well, which if you don't time it right you're going to die instantly as well. Since when does water kill aardvarks? Is that really a thing? I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, you do get tons of lives to start, which obviously that's helpful, but they will go very quickly, especially at the start of the game. Now why you would want to start any game like this, it definitely begs belief. I'm sure a lot of people that bought this cart will probably have gave up long before they get to the end of this screen, and who would blame them, because it's such a frustrating mess. Now if you obviously persevere you will make some progress. There is some variety throughout the game, although there is a lot more frustration as well. I just didn't enjoy it. It's nice enough, the graphics are really nice, the music's really cool, well designed, but the actual gameplay leaves a lot to be desired. I just think it's a bit of a frustrating mess and I didn't enjoy playing through it. And yeah, you get to the end of this level, you need to sort of waggle the D-pad as it were to try and make progress on that minecart. Something it's not entirely clear what you're supposed to do at that point, and you think the game is actually broken, but no, you just need to waggle left and right to make the minecart go through the obstacles. But interestingly, you can't actually go through the enemies, only the obstacles that are blocking your path, like the wood stopping the train from going from left to right, which is just bizarre. But anyway, I didn't like this game. I thought it was pretty poor compared to the rest of the games on the Thalamus collection. So next up we've got Bad Street Brawler. This was from Pico Collection 4 and it's a beat 'em up of sorts. Basically you're going from left to right and you can actually ignore the enemies for the best part of the level till you get to a standstill. You need to remove an enemy, then you'll move on and do the same again. But you can ignore all the in-between stuff rather than losing all your health, taking out the bad guys in between. Just get to the checkpoint, take out that enemy, move on to the next one and ignore everything that's going on in between. Absolutely bonkers, but this is terrible stuff. It was designed for the Nintendo Power Glove. I think this was one of 2 games it was actually made for, but it's a terrible game. Why Blaze would want this on the collection of Pico 4, I have no idea. It's just awful. It really is awful. I'm sure there's people out there that actually like it, but personally it's not one of those games to think, oh, I really must go home and play Bad Street Brawlers. Nope. It's one of those games I'd happily never play again. It is so bad, so poor. So bad I'd probably rather go play Beast Wrestler. I need to give that a thought. Maybe that's not true. I'm not sure. I need to go back and play it just to check. Now I'd also like to know, what is the character doing here to the enemies? Is he tickling them to death? I'm not entirely sure. If you know, please let me know. Now another game we probably could have done without on Pico Collection 4 is Target Renegade. Now I say could have done without. Ideally it would have been nice to get maybe the Spectrum version, which is much more fun to play than this game is. This is the NES version of Target Renegade and it's just no fun to play whatsoever. There's very little variety in the enemies and it's frustrating sometimes actually trying to pull off the jumping kick to take out the bike right at the start is frustrating and very tricky to actually pull off. But even if you do, there's not a lot of fun to be had here. I'm not really a big fan of this style of beat 'em up. It reminds me a little bit like Double Dragon 2 or Double Dragon 1 and 2 on the NES. I didn't really enjoy those games. I thought they were pretty poor compared to the arcade, but personally not for me. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was really bad. I look at the same enemy time and time again. I know that's typical beat 'em up fashion, but it's boring. It really is a boring game. So next up it's Deliverance Stormlord 2 from the C64 Collection 3 that was released all the way back. I think it was January or February this was released, but I wasn't a big fan of the original Stormlord game. I thought it was pretty poor, but even that, it was better than this game. Why the heck you would be killed instantly or blown apart by a water drop, I have no clue. Maybe it's not water, maybe it's acid, I'm not entirely sure. We've got bubbles maybe of acid here that's too hot to handle, that just completely obliterates your character. Anyway, the design of this is just frustrating mess. At least we've got some firepower in this second game, but for me, it's not an enjoyable experience one bit. There are a lot of other versions of this game. I'm not entirely sure if there are better versions than this one, but I didn't enjoy it. You're going to have a ton of patience to put up with this game. Now at this point you really just sit back and try and destroy the endless hordes that come at you until you're cleared, and then you can move on. But it's boring, it's no fun to play. I don't really know why Blaze choose these poor games, to be honest. I guess someone out there must like it. I'm sure someone really enjoyed it. For me, not these type of games that I want to play or experience again. It's one of those games you probably would have bought back in the day for maybe £2 or something, and then you would have played it for 5-10 minutes and probably gave up and then just chucked it to the back of the drawer somewhere. And this is another one of those games that I definitely would rather never play again. I just thought it was really, really bad. Okay, so next up is Breakdance. This was also on the C64 Collection 3. Now I quite enjoyed C64 Collection 3, but it did have a couple of really poor games. And for me this one was probably one of the poorest games released on Evercade this year. I thought it was awful. There's very little to do here. You're basically trying to copy the other moves of the dancers that you can see in the line. Copy them and then you will destroy them, disappear somehow by breakdancing. If you don't destroy them, you will eventually fall into the river below, and it just gets progressively harder and faster. There's lots of different game modes in this game. You've got a 1-on-1 game, you can play 2 players, there's a design a dance mode as well, but for me there's not much of a game here. I think this is awful, it really is awful. Although if you like this, I'm sorry, but I think it's terrible, and I really didn't enjoy experiencing this at all. It's terrible. So guys, that's our 5 worst games on Evercade in 2024. What do you think? Did you like any of these games? Would you include any other games? Did you think there was other games that probably deserve to be on this list? But anyway, don't fret, I will be looking at the best games and best carts of 2024 in upcoming videos. But for me, this was the worst games that I experienced through this year on Evercade. Thanks for watching, we'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.